right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
More than 100 cats rescued from a home in Wildwood.
Seeing in the end them finding their forever home really makes it all worth it.
Tonight, an animal shelter's call for help.
We worked our way into the low 90s today, and that is not what we've been seeing recently. But the humidity will go away, and it'll be a big difference for us as we head into the weekend, how cool it gets and which morning you should need a jacket.
Our top story, a guilty verdict in a deadly car crash.
It's not justice for my daughter and my granddaughter.
Tonight, a mother and grandmother shares her disappointment with the justice system. Carlos Clausen was found guilty this week of second-degree involuntary manslaughter. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. He was convicted for the high-speed crash in North St. Louis that killed his ex-girlfriend and their daughter. New tonight, only 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend has reaction from the victim's mother and grandmother.
Were they always together?
Always.
Not a day goes by that Melinda Stokes doesn't think about her 29-year-old daughter, Dominique Hicks, and her 2-year-old granddaughter, Damani Hicks.
Dominique's loving smile. Damani's, she was a cheerful baby.
According to court documents, on the night of March 6, 2021, Hicks and her daughter rode in the mom's Chrysler PT Cruiser in North St. Louis with Hicks' ex-boyfriend, Carlos Clausen. Police say they reviewed surveillance video that showed Clausen drove 61 miles an hour, failed to obey a stop sign near Halls Ferry Circle and Lewis and Clark Boulevard, hit a curb, went airborne, and then plowed into 2 trees. Dominique Hicks was killed. Days later, Hicks and Clausen's critically injured child was taken off life support and died.
3 months before he killed my daughter, my granddaughter, he told me he was going to kill them.
Why?
He was jealous of her.
More than 3 years after the crash, Tuesday, a judge convicted Clausen of 2 counts of second-degree involuntary manslaughter. 2 counts of armed criminal action were dropped.
I'm disappointed in the system. I'm disappointed in the judge.
In a statement, Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore said, "We will continue to prosecute reckless drivers who choose to wreak havoc in our city to the fullest extent of the law." Carlos Clausen will be sentenced next month. Melinda Stokes will definitely be in the courtroom to speak out on behalf of her 2 loved ones.
I hope that the judge finally take in consideration that my daughter and my granddaughter is no longer here and give them the justice that they deserve.
Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
In January, Clausen was released from jail on his own recognizance. This afternoon, Robert also reached out to the public defender who represented him, but he did not hear back.
Well, weather impacted tonight's Kansas City Chiefs game. Storms delayed kickoff. We could use some of that rain as we're in a slight drought. Meteorologist Gary Frank is in for Scott tonight, tracking our rain chances, Gary.
Yeah, that delay is all part of the same system as tracking its way across the state. You can see where that provided that brief heavy rain, and mainly lightning was the reason they delayed it. They could play through the rain, right? But it's all attached that goes across the state here, all the way across to Quincy. And if it looks less than impressive, that's because it is. There's not much going on, but there may be a few showers overnight, which I guess we'll take anything we can get at this point. They're hanging on from Macon, north of Moberly, and Quincy. That is working its way off to the south. That may bring some early rain, but it's all part of a larger cold front, which will impact us a lot. It's still warm and muggy outside and 79 in St. Louis. We're in the mid-60s behind it. That will usher in much cooler air for tomorrow and a northwest breeze, which cloud cover and a slight chance for very early rain. Most of this is 15 to 30 minutes, and a lot of people miss it completely. We're in the low 80s tomorrow, but believe it or not, our big weather impact into this weekend is a light chance for rain tomorrow, but layers will be needed starting Friday night and then the next couple of mornings. It's going to be a big difference, about a 45 to 50 degree swing what our morning lows are and how long we can hold on to that fall-like weather.
Tonight, new data from the city shows violent crime is down in St. Louis compared to last year.
5 on Your Side's Megan Kernan talked with a community group expressing some skepticism over those numbers.
This data compares crimes committed in St. Louis from August 2023 to August 2024. City leaders are touting a slight drop in homicides, while others feel the crime stats don't reflect the true state of safety in our area.
I think it's really not a question of statistics. It's a question of whether people actually feel safe in a neighborhood.
Deadly shootings, violent attacks, and armed robberies happening all over the city of St. Louis. Though new data released by the city and SLMPD showed violent crime has gone down 2.2% since last year.
Last August at this time we had 109 homicides. This year we had 106. So we're continuing to see that downward trend. That's down from a high of 183 in 2020.
Connor Kerrigan, a spokesman from Mayor Tashara Jones's office, says homicides in downtown St. Louis are down by 1 in the past year. However, there was an increase in shooting victims.
Downtown year over year has seen a decrease of 42% in violent crime since Mayor Jones took office in 2021. So there's certainly neighborhoods where we're seeing those continued violent crimes.
That is very misleading to say that. You have to look at all portions of downtown. If you pull up downtown west, you'll see a lot bigger numbers.
The neighborhoods that have seen the biggest increase in murders in the past year are downtown west and Dutchtown. Les Sturman, a member of Citizens for a Greater Downtown St. Louis, says as a downtown resident, he's skeptical about the data.
We hear gunshots periodically. We hear sirens. It's just a parade of sirens. The issue here is there have been 10 homicides already this year in downtown and over 60 shooting victims. And frankly, we don't think that's anything that the mayor or the police chief should be doing a victory lap over.
Every single homicide in the city of St. Louis is an unnecessary tragedy. But what I keep telling folks is this is progress, not perfection.
The neighborhoods that have seen the biggest decrease in murders are Fountain Park and Hyde Park. A spokesman for SLMPD tells us they have a potential software vendor for an interactive crime map that will be available soon. Reporting in downtown St. Louis, Megan Kernan, 5 on your side.
A Metro East community came together today for the funeral of a teen who died in a crash. 15-year-old Crawford Bryant was the passenger in a car when it crashed over Labor Day weekend. Columbia High School canceled class today so students and staff and family could attend his funeral. Friends and family shared their memories of Bryant.
He was a gift from God, and even though we only had 15 years with him, God chose all of us to spend 15 years with this angel.
Columbia High School plans to honor Bryant during tomorrow night's football game against its rival Waterloo. Fans from both teams have agreed to wear orange and blue as a show of unity.
Tonight, the Animal Protective Association is caring for more than 100 cats rescued from a home in Wildwood. The St. Louis County Police Department said 2 adults were living in the home. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski spoke with the APA, now asking for your help.
On August 28th, St. Louis County Police were called out to do a welfare check in the 18,000 block of Country Trails Court. Carolyn Hayden says she'd been trying to get police involved for more than a year because she was concerned about her parents who lived in the Wildwood home with another family member. She says they uncovered more about the situation after her mother died and her brother was able to get inside the house. Hayden shared these photos showing the chaos inside the home, cats all over, in and out of cages. Hayden says the family was very concerned about the conditions their parents had been living in and now will be taking legal action. The house has been condemned. Police said in a statement when officers arrived they found dozens of cats and notified the St. Louis County Problem Properties Division. The Animal Protective Association says 150 cats and counting have been removed from the home so far. They even had to convert rooms in the shelter to house all of them.
We've really been working our staff to really help care for all of those pets because it is the biggest case we've had all at one time.
The APA says these are just a few of the cats and kittens rescued from the home. Those kittens are only about 2 weeks old.
So when we brought them in, we went ahead and, took a look at them, made sure they were healthy. Anyone that needed any care, we went ahead and covered that. And then after that, they'll be spayed and neutered prior to becoming available for adoption.
They say donations of cat items and food, adoptions, and fostering currently available cats will help them tremendously.
We have Clear the Shelters happening this weekend, so all of our pets' fees are waived. That will help us free up space in our shelter to bring in more, which we are expecting.
Reporting in Olivet, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
You can drop off donations inside at both Brentwood and Olivet APA locations. And we have more details about the Clear Shelters event on KSDK.com.
A big win tonight for pro-choice advocates in a major battle over the language appearing on the Missouri ballot this November.
The court struck down Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft's version of the abortion rights question, calling it, quote, unfair, inaccurate, insufficient, and misleading. The court drafted new language defining the impact of a yes vote as something that would establish a constitutional right to make decisions about reproductive health care and remove Missouri's ban on abortion. You can read the full updated ballot language on our website, ksdk.com.
St. Louis Public Schools is taking its search overseas to combat a teacher shortage. The district partnered with a recruiting agency to bring 21 teachers from Ghana and the Philippines to the city. Close to 200 teachers applied. The district spent a month helping them get their Missouri credentials. It is a method that's proven to work at other local school districts.
They came in and they were instructionally strong, and it went really well. And they were able to support us in that area, and we were able to support them in making the cultural connections, and we had a great year.
The teachers union supports the international hiring, saying it helps the burden of the teacher shortage. A child care crisis leading to calls for help.
There's nothing you can do in this situation.
Tonight, the I-Team looks into why hundreds of providers are not receiving state funding.
The state of Missouri is currently failing.
Well, it should come as no surprise to any of us that we're worked our way back into the moderate drought category. No surprise, over the last few days, it's been incredibly dry. Why our rain chance won't do much for that over the next 24 hours, and when we'll see another one.
Hours ago, police in Georgia arrested the father of the 14-year-old suspect in yesterday's school shooting. Colin Gray faces 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. His son, Colt, is suspected of killing 2 students and 2 teachers at Appalachia High School.
He is in custody at this point in time. His charges are directly connected with the actions of his son and allowing him to possess a weapon.
Gray is facing 4 counts of felony murder for the deaths. He will be tried as an adult. 9 others were injured in yesterday's shooting. Police say they will all make a full recovery.
Former President Trump's attorneys were back in court in his election interference case. It's the first hearing since special counsel Jack Smith issued a new indictment. A federal judge set the schedule for the case. The special counsel has until September 26th to file an opening brief on presidential immunity. The judge will decide in late October if further proceedings are needed. In a surprise move, Hunter Biden entered a guilty plea in his federal tax fraud case. The son of President Biden made the plea just before jury selection to avoid a trial. Hunter Biden said he didn't want to submit his family to more pain and embarrassment. He could face prison time when he's sentenced in December. A Missouri House committee convenes next week with one mission: to investigate what's delaying state payments to families and child care providers across the state.
The crisis is unfolding across Missouri, leaving countless families and child care providers in a bind. The I-Team's Paula Bassan has a closer look at what's being done to fix the problem.
For many child care providers in Missouri, hope and perseverance are all that keep their doors open.
You do everything that you can, but there's nothing you can do in this situation.
Samantha Cross was one of the lucky ones. Since our interview in March, she finally received the state subsidies she was owed. Thanks, she says, to our reporting.
It feels great that we get to keep our doors open, that we get to still serve our families, that I don't have to close the doors for our children.
But the I-Team discovered internal system-wide issues are still causing payment backlogs for potentially hundreds of childcare providers across Missouri. One of them recently sharing this letter on Facebook that notes, "The financial strain caused by these circumstances has become insurmountable for us." Just last week, Missouri's House Elementary and Secondary Education Committee decided to hold a hearing investigating the causes and impact of these payment delays.
This is just another example of where the state of Missouri is currently failing.
House Minority Leader Crystal Quade's office recently sent this letter to the state, pushing the department to make payments now.
These providers that the state of Missouri has contracted with, we owe them money. These are folks who have been approved for payment in the past. They are essentially vendors.
She says the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has $215 million allocated for child care subsidies. Only $24 million has been distributed, mostly because of an IT problem that's lasted at least 9 months. The State Department blames the delays on challenges with the new data system launched last December. In a statement, the department acknowledged the problems and promised transparency in upcoming hearings. They say they're taking steps to address the backlog and process payments more quickly. But for many providers, these promises come too late.
What's your message to DESE right now?
Do better. get rid of the broken system. We never had these issues prior to this new system.
The Missouri House Education Committee will hold a hearing in Jefferson City on September 10th. The Budget Committee will follow with another hearing the next day. Both are investigating why child care funds remain unspent. For the I-Team, Paula Vasan, 5 on your side.
Crystal Quaid is the Democratic nominee for governor. We reached out to her opponent, Lieutenant Governor Mike Keogh. He says access to safe and affordable child care is critical for Missouri families. This delay in payments to child care providers is unacceptable. He goes on to say he will work with the governor's office, the legislature, and DESE to ensure government bureaucracy does not continue to hurt these small businesses providing essential services to hardworking Missourians. If you have a tip for Paula, leave her a message at 314-444-5231, or you can send an email to paula@ksdk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential.
Let's check in with meteorologist Gary Frank again. He's in for Scott as we head into the weekend. How is the forecast looking, Gary?
Feels very nice, and no surprise, I'm going to talk about how dry it is because that's the way it's been pretty much every day for the last few days. It's just a matter of how hot it is. As you look down Market Street, the arch lights are turned off. The migrating birds still, as you continue to see temps at 79 degrees. Still pretty warm out there right now with calm winds. We got to 93 today, so that was 8 degrees above normal. It's starting to get a little bit muggier, and that's one thing that we'll look at is this front kind of stretches all the way from Wichita. You can see that it's very slow moving here from Wichita all the way to Chicago. As we continue to look ahead here overall, for the most part here, as we look ahead, we're going to continue to look at a few showers here as we look ahead to, just a little bit of humidity for the most part. And that's what we're going to look at here as we go throughout the next several hours. You're going to see that humidity here ahead because there's not much going on. It's just kind of feeding ahead of this front here. But as we continue to look at that front, maybe a couple of showers here and there. I don't think it's going to impact us too much, but it's around for about 15 to 30 minutes throughout the day, depending on where you are. So I just think that for the most part, you're going to start off the day with around 70 degrees with a slight chance for rain. And then overall, it is very, very quiet with not much rain is expected. And that's why I talked about how dry it is with just look at these rain under 0.05 of an inch of rain, and then as you head outside in the evening, look how quickly it gets nice and cool. By 7 o'clock, mid to upper 60s. We're low 70s here in the city, but look how it starts to get cool. And that's where the second half of some of those high school football games is going to get awfully cool with temps in the upper 50s. So I think the big story for us this weekend is how cool it is in the morning. 50s and 40s on Saturday morning, and then by Sunday, we're talking about low 40s. Are you going to turn the heat on? Are you going to check the heat? And you smell that furnace smell already? At least think about it. It's going to be chilly, and you're going to open up those windows perhaps because it's going to be on the chillier side. A light shower for the first part of Friday, and then as we head into the weekend, we're in the mid-70s here. Overall, though, it's still going to get hot, and it's still going to be dry, so we're not going to see too much of a change here for the next few days. We still don't have any rain, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's too bad. Gary, thanks. Frank is next with sports.
Mike, the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame inducted some legends tonight, and you will see and hear from Steven Jackson, Kelly Chase, and Ray Langford. Stick around, please.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
I know other cities have a Hall of Fame, but it may mean just a little more to go into this one in St. Louis. We know how we treasure our sports heroes. There is the 11-member St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame induction class, and the stars were out. There's the great Steven Jackson, who rushed for 1,000 yards 8 straight years and finished with over 11,000 yards. How about Ray Langford, arguably the most underrated Cardinal ever, a .364 on-base percentage and an .840 OPS, and the incredible enforcer, Kelly Chase, who's well on his way to beating leukemia. I asked each of them how they never dogged it for 1 second.
Paid to entertain and care. Most importantly, care. I think when you put on a jersey in St. Louis, it's something different. It's something special. There's a blue-collar feel to it, and there's a sense of, if you're giving everybody, you don't have to be the best player on the team, but if your effort is there, they recognize it.
Someone in the crowd, I believe, will be inspired from my career and my efforts. So it was one of those things that I always thought about when I was a little kid. I wanted the moment, so how dare would I, turn my nose up to it.
Never 100%. Something's gonna always be bothering you. Just got to play through it. Mind over matter, right? So, I was always told sometimes, 75% might be better than some guys 100%.
Beautiful golf swings from the Champions Tour will be on display tomorrow as the Ascension Charity Classic begins at Norwood Hills Country Club. One guy to watch is 57-year-old Steve Stricker, who had an insane 2023 season but is yet to win this year. Last season, the Illinois grad won 6 times in 16 events. Better year on the Champions Tour than Stricker last season.
It was just one of those years where I had the opportunity to win, and almost every time I teed it up, and actually won quite a few of them, and didn't win some that I thought I could. Going out trying to learn from some of the issues that I've had, some of the mistakes I've made, and trying to clean those up.
What an incredible ending to the opening of the NFL season. Lamar Jackson appears to hit Isaiah Likely for the touchdown, but the toe was on the line, and the Chiefs escape with a 27-20 victory over the Ravens.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
City SC will be looking for their first road victory of the season on Saturday in New England. They will have to go up against an old friend, Tim Parker. Coach Hackworth is looking forward to seeing his old vice captain, at least during pregame.
I'm going to give him a big hug. I'm going to say great to see you, and then I hope I can't say what I really want to, and for sure what I will say to Tim, but I'll say, you're the enemy right now, and then at the end of it, I'll give him another hug and I'll wish him all the best.
And be sure to be with us Sunday night for Sports Plus. We will have the Terry Mickler story. The 77-year-old legendary soccer coach could have lost his life and did lose his leg, and he's back coaching the cadets.
When the leg came off, I knew it wasn't coming back. It wasn't going to grow back. I was going to have to learn to deal with it. And it's different. It's really different. But as I've said this before, thank God I'm 77, not 27.
And what's not different is his coaching style. Nothing has changed. He's still the best in the business.
Yeah, he's the legend. Frank, thanks.
Coming up, a bizarre accident you need to see to believe, and even then, you may have questions.
A sign that drivers need to slow down. A truck in Virginia crashed its trailer into a sign on the interstate. Nobody was hurt. Police say the driver is being charged with reckless driving. They're also investigating how the trailer detached from the semi. Oh, yeah.
Well, a Chicago bakery is cooking up something big, or baking something big. Eli's Cheesecake made a 1,000-pound cheesecake for this weekend's Taste of Chicago. It's vanilla and chocolate chip cake with buttercream frosting and berries molded from cookie dough. And the best part, you're giving away free samples.
You ever had Eli's cheesecake?
I have.
It's
good
good stuff.
Delish.
It really is.
Yeah.
Gary has one final check of the weather.
Yeah, I would like to say we're going to have a bunch of rain overnight. It'll be nice. We'll clear for the weekend. Yeah, it's just not very good. We've got this rain that's kind of settling here, and it's all part of this front that's going to move in. It may cause us a 15 to 20-minute outdoor break for a little bit, but here's what it looks like. It's just going to be very, very skimpy at best. Between 8 to 9 o'clock, a few light showers along this front, and they continue to push through here by 11, 12 o'clock, and it's pretty much out of here. And then watch where that cloud movement is from the north. That's where the wind starts to pick up out of the northwest, and that's where it gets kind of chilly here. So as we look ahead for the next few days, once again, a light, brief shower in the morning. We still get to 83 behind that front, but then we're talking about temps in the 40s, and that's like Friday night into Saturday. I'm telling you, these Friday night football games, I mean, some of these people that are not prepared, they're not paying attention, you're going to have to, you got to warn them right now. You got to tell them, bring an extra layer for the second half. Yeah. It's going to be chilly. I don't care who you are. You're going to get chilly. It's going to get chilly.
So you were rooting for the Ravens tonight.
We're big time Ravens. I do wear a lot of purple, but today wasn't one of them days.
No, it wasn't. Nice. There you have it. 5 on Your Side at 10, a late edition. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
We hope you'll start your day with Today in St. Louis. That starts at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.